Gentlemen, just because you're a good man doesn't mean you're immune to making the mistake of choosing the wrong woman. In fact, some of the most painful relationships happen when men enter with the best intentions. Why? Because even the best men can get caught in patterns that seem right in the moment, but ultimately destroy them in the long run. If you've been following my videos, you know that attraction is just the surface. The real challenge isn't about catching an attractive woman's attention. It's about picking the right woman. One who won't break you or leave you feeling hopeless or worse, bitter towards all women. Too many good men find themselves in relationships that drain them, confuse them, and sometimes even tear them apart. It's not because they don't know better. It's because no one has ever told them the truth about why they end up with the wrong women in the first place. This video isn't about blaming women or attacking men, but about facing the hard truth. The reality is, too many men let things like beauty, loneliness, or guilt push them to lower their standards. And when that happens, they give up their power and end up trapped in the very type of relationship they promised themselves they would never settle for. Today I'll share with you 9 reasons why good men end up in bad relationships, with real examples. Some of these might hurt, but if you're tired of repeating the same mistakes, you need to hear them even if it stings. And remember, many of these lessons can apply to women too. Welcome to Become Stoic. To our loyal subscribers, you are the heart of this brotherhood. If you're new, like, share, and subscribe. We dive into human nature and the psychology of female attraction. Let's begin. Reason number 1. Lust clouds your judgment. It's obvious, but it's still the biggest trap. Lust makes men ignore red flags they would never tolerate otherwise. A seductive woman can blind a man to disrespect, lies, and even cruelty. You convince yourself that because she's physically attracted to you, everything else doesn't matter. Too many men overlook the fact that lust is like a drug. It clouds your judgment and creates dependency. When a man chooses a woman solely for her looks or sexual appeal, he's setting himself up for frustration, because lust can never make up for a lack of character. I knew a guy who swore his girlfriend was the one, because their physical connection was electric. 6 months later, he realized she had no interest in his values, goals, or lifestyle. All they had was sex. Everything else was pure chaos. Have you ever confused physical attraction with true compatibility? Leave a comment. Here's the thing. Attraction matters, but it can't carry a relationship. So, pay attention to how she lives, what she values, and how she treats you outside the bedroom. Reason number 2. Letting beauty hide the red flags. Good men often overlook flaws in beautiful women. You see her looks and ignore selfishness, immaturity, or disrespect. You tell yourself you're lucky to be with her, but she's the lucky one to have you. I knew a guy who dated a stunning woman who belittled him in public. Instead of leaving, he made excuses like, "She's just joking." But those jokes crushed his confidence, and she eventually left him for someone else. Would you rather be with an average-looking woman who respects you or a beautiful one who disrespects you? Remember, respect is non-negotiable. Beauty fades when there's no respect behind it. Reason number 3. Believing you can fix her. Men are wired to fix things, even people. So, when you see a woman with problems, you think your love, time, or money can heal her. You fall for her potential, not the reality. I knew a man who stayed with a woman constantly in financial trouble. He paid her bills, bailed her out, and believed she'd get it together. But she never did. She just kept relying on him until he was broke too. Have you ever tried to fix a woman instead of letting her fix herself? Be honest. Here's the tip. You can't save someone who isn't committed to saving themselves. Stop trying to fix projects. Reason number 4. Mistaking drama for passion. Some men confuse constant emotional chaos with excitement, passion, or love. The fights, the makeups, the intense feelings may feel thrilling, but it's not real passion. It's dysfunction, often rooted in unresolved childhood issues. A friend once told me he stayed with a woman because we fight hard, but we love hard. 2 years later, he was drained, anxious, and realized he didn't even know what peace in a relationship felt like. Do you think drama equals passion, or is it just chaos? Healthy relationships are calm and consistent. If you mistake drama for passion, you'll never experience true intimacy. Reason 5. Settling out of fear of being alone. Many stay in the wrong relationship not because it's right but because they fear loneliness. They tell themselves, something is better than nothing, but holding on to the wrong person drains them more than being single. I knew a man whose wife withheld intimacy, using it as a reward for his attention. He thought, it's better than nothing, but it wasn't, it was worse. It cost him years of frustration and hurt his confidence. So, what's worse, being single or stuck in the wrong relationship? Only you can decide. Here's the tip. Being stuck with the wrong person can be worse than loneliness. If your relationship has potential, it can be fixed, but it takes real effort. It's worth it, especially if you have children together. Reason 6. Confusing control for care. Some people disguise control as concern, claiming, I just want what's best for you, when in reality, they're shaping you into someone they can control. Good men fall for this because they want to please and often give the benefit of the doubt. They think, I would never do that, so they don't see it when someone tries to control them. I knew a guy who gave up his hobbies, stopped hanging out with friends, and even changed how he dressed, all because his girlfriend framed it as self-improvement. Years later, he didn't recognize himself. If you're changing into someone you don't want to be just for her, that's a red flag. Have you ever lost yourself to please a woman? Here's the tip. A supportive partner encourages growth without erasing your identity. If she's stripping you of who you are, that's not care. Reason 7. Staying because of time invested. This is a tough one. The longer you stay, the harder it feels to leave. You think, I've already given her 5 years. I can't just walk away. But that's sunk cost thinking, and it's why men waste years with the wrong woman. Time spent doesn't guarantee future happiness. It only means more time lost if you stay in a situation that's not right for you. I knew a man who stayed in a loveless marriage for 12 years, convincing himself it was too late to start over. In the end, he wasted another decade and still ended up divorced. Would you rather cut your losses or keep wasting time and staying miserable? Here's the tip. The years you've spent are gone. You can't get them back. The real question is whether you'll keep wasting time or make the tough changes to reclaim your life. I know it's not easy, but it might just be the breakthrough you need. Stay tuned for my next video on knowing when to walk away. Reason 8. Confusing neediness with love. Some people cling to their partners out of insecurity and call it love, but it's really dependency. Good men often mistake this neediness for devotion because it makes them feel wanted, but they're just an emotional crutch. If she heals, she may not need you anymore. I knew a man whose girlfriend would guilt trip him whenever he wanted space. If you loved me, you'd want to be with me all the time. He thought her clinginess meant love, but it was really her fear of being alone. Do you think clinginess is love or insecurity? Or somewhere in between? Have you ever been the clingy one in a relationship? Be honest. Here's the tip. Real love respects boundaries. Neediness is not love. Interdependence is. Reason 9. Hoping she will change. This is the biggest trap. People stay in bad relationships because they believe their partner will eventually become the person they want them to be. Hope keeps them stuck. I knew a man who said, she's good enough for now, maybe she'll get better. He spent over 20 years hoping she'd change into someone she was never meant to be. Women, though, are often more guilty of this than men. Do you think people can truly change in relationships, or do they just reveal who they really are? Have you ever changed in a relationship? Share your story. Here's the tip. Stop dating based on hope and potential. Believe what you see, not what you wish for. There you have it. 9 reasons good men end up in bad relationships. It's not about being weak or unworthy of better, but attraction without wisdom leads to frustration. If you take the time to spot red flags and prioritize respect, you can avoid the cycles of pain and regret. Remember, you don't need a woman to complete you. Jerry Maguire was wrong. The right woman should complement and enhance the life you're already building. If this video helped, like and subscribe, share it with a man who needs to hear it. Drop a comment with the reasons you've experienced. Respect yourself, protect yourself, and choose wisely. God bless.